Hello, today we are going to look at doing algebraic division using the long division method. So there's several ways of doing algebraic division. We're going to look at one of them today. So here we have a quadratic. We have an x squared expression divided by linear expression. So what we're going to do is long division in the same way as we would have done long division for just numbers in primary school. And the steps are always the same: divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. And we're going to look at those steps in context now, and we're going to go through three different styles of example you might come across. So I see this here, and I have this is divided by this. The way that I write it in is the thing I am dividing in, and then I draw in a little line like this to break up what I'm dividing in and what I'm dividing into. X squared plus 2x minus 3. And the first step is divide. Take the highest power here, so this is x to the power of 1 is the highest power of x I've got here, and divide it into the highest power here. So x divides into x squared, and I put the result of that here. Sorry, I put the result of that there. X squared divided by x is just going to give me x. And if we want, there's no problem with having a little notepad over or to the side of where we're working and putting in those little sums for ourselves. X squared divided by x would just give me x. X to the power of 2 divided by x to the power of 1 would be x to the power of 2 minus 1 would be x to the power of 1, or x squared would be x by x divided by x would leave me with just x, whichever way we want to work it out. So that's our first step. X squared x divided into x squared gives me x. That's my divide part done. Now multiply is I'm going to take what I just got here, x, and multiply it by each of the things I'm dividing in. X multiplied by x is x squared. X multiplied by minus 1 is minus 1x, which we just write as minus x. So I've taken what I had divided in and I multiplied by each thing I'm dividing in by, and I write it underneath my main line. And the next step is to subtract, to take away. So I'm going to take away this from this and this from this. So what does it mean to take away? Well, this is taking away plus x squared, so that's just minus x squared. But taking away minus x would be the same as adding x, because minus multiplied by minus is plus. So effectively the signs of these numbers down here change. These terms down here change. So x squared minus x squared is just 0, and 2x plus x would be plus 3x. Final step then is to bring down, so bring down the next term in our main line. And now we start the whole cycle over again. So x, the highest power in what I'm dividing in, goes into the highest power here, which is plus 3x. So x divided by plus 3x. Again, we can write it off to the side to help ourselves keep track of this for now. 3x divided by x is just going to leave me with 3. So I write that up here, just like I did for my x. I write it next to it. So I have x has divided into 3x and given me 3. That's plus 3x, so it's plus 3. And then multiply is my next step. 3 multiplied by x is 3x. 3 multiplied by minus 1 is minus 3. And what's my next step? It is subtract. So I subtract this line away from the upper line. So 3x, take away 3x. And then I know if I'm subtracting a minus, minus multiplied by minus would be plus, or subtracting a negative is the same as adding. And what do I get? 3x minus 3x is 0, minus 3 plus 3 is 0. Now this is an important result, and we'll come back to it in much more detail when we've done some more algebra. This tells me that this expression here is a factor of this expression here. The fact that I got 0 remainder. So this will be important in the long run, and we'll come back to its significance later. But for right now, this tells us that this divides evenly. It's a factor of this. So we might remember back from when we would have divided, use long division to get the factors of numbers in primary. Now, this is just another way of writing the same type of question. If I had 12 over 3, it would mean the same as 12 divided by 3. We know that fractions mean the same thing as division. So let's write this out. 2x minus 3, and we're dividing that into 2x cubed minus 7x squared plus 4x plus 3. So let's start running through our cycle. We take the highest power here, so 2x is the highest powered term here, and divide it into the highest powered term here. 2x divides into 2x cubed x squared times, again we can write this off to the side, 2x cubed over 2x, 2 divided by 2 is just going to give us 1, and x cubed divided by x is going to leave me with x squared. We don't have to write this in, it's not a requirement, but if we're finding it challenging, this is a very useful tool. It's a very good idea when we're training ourselves. So 2x divided into 2x cubed is making x squared, and then multiply x squared by 2x, and I get 2x cubed. 2x squared multiplied by minus 3 gives me minus 3x squared. Next step is subtract. Subtracting plus 2x cubed is fairly straightforward, it's just minus 2x cubed, but I know that it minus multiplied by minus is going to give me a plus. So when I subtract 3x squared, if I subtract the subtraction, it's the same as adding, or again, minus multiplied by minus is a plus. That's why this sign is changing to a plus. Then I do my subtraction and I get 0 here, and I get minus 7x squared plus 3x squared is minus 4x squared plus 4x from bringing down. So that's my next step, bring down the plus 4x, and then the whole cycle starts again. I have 2x goes into minus 4x squared. I can write that off to the side. So minus 4x squared divided by 2x. I have minus divided by a plus is a minus, and 4 divided by 2 is 2, and x squared divided by x is going to be x. So I have minus 2x, and now I'm going to multiply that. That's my next step, multiply that by each of these. So minus 2 multiplied by minus 2x, it's going to be minus 4x squared. You can see that each time we do this, the first term should end up being identical. If it isn't, we've made a mistake, and it's an easy way to see that we've made a mistake. Next term, minus 2x multiplied by minus 3. Minus by minus is a plus. 2 by 3 is 6 by x. Next step is subtract. So now we have a minus here, so subtracting a minus is the same as a plus, and subtracting a plus is the same as a minus. So minus by minus is plus, minus by plus is minus. And we get 0 here, and we get plus 4x minus 6x is minus 2x. Final step, bring down. Because this was a cube thing, we have another round to go, one more round to go. So 2x divides it into minus 2x. Minus 2x divided by 2x leaves me with minus 1. So minus 1 goes up here. Minus 1 multiplied by 2x is minus 2x. Minus 3 multiplied by minus 1 is plus 3. Then we subtract, and we get 0, 0. And again, this is very important. In the long run, this tells me that this is a factor of this, or this is a factor of this. And we'll look at what factors mean in more detail later. Now, the final way that we can come across this is in terms of areas, because we know if we have a rectangle, which is what I've tried to draw here, its area, the area of our rectangle, would be our length multiplied by our width. So if we wanted to know our length, if we divide both sides by the width, rearrange our equation to get the length by itself. The length of our side, the bit we're missing in this question, would be the area divided by the width. So if we get a question like this, we recognize it as a division question because we know the area of a rectangle. So to find our length that we're looking for, we have to divide k minus 2 into this business here. So we have k minus 2. We're dividing in to this here. But there's an issue. You can see here this number goes x cubed, x squared, x, and then number. This goes x squared, x, and then number. We're going down the powers very neatly. But here there's a gap, and we need to deal with that. So here we go from x cubed down to power of 1 on the k. So we need to have a 0x squared added in here to keep this all neat and tidy. So that's a trick. That's why we're doing another one of these, because there's a trap here. We need to be careful that if we see a gap in our powers going down, we need to take account of it and add in 0x squared or 0x, whatever is missing. And now we're going to run through our steps again. K divides it into 3k cubed, 3k squared times. That's our divide, multiply. 3k squared into 3 multiplied by 3k, multiplied by k, and 3k squared multiplied by minus 2 is minus 6k squared. Subtract is our next step, and we get 0, and we get 6k squared. Bring down. And we start the cycle again. K goes into 6k squared plus there, plus 6k times, and then multiply. 6k squared, 6k multiplied by minus 2 gives me minus 12k. Subtract. So minus by minus is plus again, and we end up with 0 and plus 8k. Bring down, and the cycle again repeats one more time to completion. So k goes into plus 8k plus 8 times, and I get 8k minus 16, and I subtract, and I get 0 and 0. So now I have divided in, and I know that this is a factor because I got 0, 0, I got no remainder, and this is the other factor. This is the other factor, this is the other factor. And we will look at that in more detail when we have looked at factors in algebra in more detail. And that's what we need for now.